I'm so excited.
Awesome. 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 Okay. So, a little bit about me. My name is Cassie. I live in New Jersey. I am a mom of two. I work a full-time job as a sales director for a manufacturing company of steel piping components. So, when I started coaching, I've been coaching almost 4 years. I decided to coach in July of 2018. Um, and I had actually been asked to be a coach for like 2 years. And from the same person, my upline coach is actually a friend that I went to high school with. It's his wife. And, it just never kind of felt like the right time for me. And I always said I was too busy. And the funniest thing is like, I actually was busier 2 years later when I decided to coach. But I kind of came to a point in my life where, I had these two kids. I was in the trenches of motherhood and I kind of like, kids cost money. So I knew more income would be huge for our family. And on top of that, I kind of like lost a piece of me. And after having my daughter, I really started getting into nutrition and fitness like a lot more. So when my coach reapproached me, I was at a point where I was like, you know what, I really love what I'm doing, like with this fitness stuff. And, I figured, why not? The first couple months, like I did hit Success Club, but I wasn't really all in. I kind of had a toe in. I wasn't doing the vitals daily and I started to struggle. And that when I started to struggle was the only 2 months in the 4 years that I've ever missed Success Club was after that like 3-4 month mark. And I remember talking to a coach, putting in like the team page and just saying like, what do I need to do? And she's like, you need to go all in with your business and all in with a program and share your journey. And I did Transform 20. And that's kind of like when I started to see my business take off because I went all in with my own journey and publicly shared every step along the way. And that's when I kind of had the aha moment. And that's when I decided that, it really wasn't a toe in kind of business as far as being present on social media. Like that was something that I was like, okay, I can't show up once a week and expect to do big things with this business. If you're a hobby coach and your expectations are just to, dabble here and there a little bit, then that's different. But for me, I wanted, a full-time income. And I realized that like doing the one toe in was just not going to happen. So that's the quick background of me. So Brianna and I were talking like before, and I was like, what can I talk about? And I was like, how about sharing just like value of like social media and how to bring value to social media? Because I think that's something that there's so much on social media. And it's hard to like kind of hone in. You kind of like feel like you can go in like a million directions. So I kind of am have a presentation I'm going to share. It'll just kind of keep me on track. And then if you have any like questions or anything, you can just kind of chime in because I don't know if I'm going to be like actively looking at the chat while I'm talking. So just feel free to jump in, or Brianna, you can jump in. Am I the host? Can I share? Oh, here it is. Share screen, share. All right, 1 second here. Okay, can everybody see this? Okay, cool. Move this like bar that's at the top. Where do I hit start on this? Present, there it is. Present. Okay. So the first thing is like a new coach, and I encourage a lot of my new coaches when they onboard with me is like really sit down and think like, who are you and like what do you want your social media page to look like? Remember that there are so many different coaches and you don't have to fit a mold to be a coach or be a good coach. If you look at like the top 10 coaches, they are all vastly different. They all take completely different takes on their social media page. And that's the beauty of this business, is that it's like, your page should really embody who you are as a person, because you're not going to enjoy what you're doing if you're trying to be somebody you're not. So remember that when you're starting out. I always tell my coaches, like, do a little color wheel, when they're first, write down like everything, attributes about yourself, things that you like. Here I have like, what's your age, maybe what season of life you're in. For instance, like somebody, one of a really high up coach, she's in her 40s and that's her target market. She's not going after college kids. It just doesn't align. So her, part of what she really pushes is, you're losing weight in your 40s, around that time of your body changing and things like that. So think about these things, when you're writing your color wheel down. What are your hobbies outside of fitness? What do you like to do? Do you love going antiquing? Do you love antiques? Do you like to golf? Are you an affordable fashion shopper? Like, what's your thing? What do you love doing? Write all of that down as much as you possibly can. Personality, are you energetic? Are you somebody who's more of an introvert? Are you super organized? Are you the life of the party? Are you somebody who's more like spur of the moment and adventurous? Write down things like, what do you really want to express on your page? I have two coaches who in the past have struggled with eating disorders, and they're in the middle of eating disorder recovery, and they're sharing that journey, and they're really connecting with people who are in that same space as they are. Skinny to strong, that was like really, what I embodied for a long time, still do, is, I was 94 pounds and I looked sick and there was nothing wrong with me. I just needed to make some changes. And that's kind of the take that I took on my page a lot. Body image positivity. Do you want to center your whole like feet around something like that? Are you passionate about that? There's all these different things you can be putting on your color wheel, and you can put as much as you want, and then take a look at that and really hone down like what you would really want to make your page start looking like. Because what happens on social media is, if you're all over the place on your page, people aren't going to find that common connection with you. They're going to be like, okay, if one day you're doing a reel and it's 30 different things, the next day and the next day, and affordable, fashion one day and this the next day, find one or two things that you're really, really interested in doing and stick with it. For instance, like on mine, if I'm typically sharing a real recipe in my reels, or a how-to of making some kind of nutrition. I'm big into nutrition. That's one of my big things. And then my other reel is usually related around just like mom life, being, just something related to where I am in a season of life. And it's usually one of those two things. I don't stray. I don't like randomly just do things that have nothing, that are not aligned with what my niche is, if that makes sense. So I really stick to those two things. And if you go on my personal page, like, you'll see you're either getting a recipe for me, or I'm talking about something as mom life, or just something in the fitness, arena. Okay. So let's see. Once you've established your niche, I learned this a while ago, and it was one of those things that I really liked, and I stuck with it. And now I teach my coaches this as well. Every day or throughout the week, when I set up whether you set up your posts and create your content at once, or whether you do it day to day, I keep three main topics in mind when I'm making a post: value, vulnerable, and viral. And every single one of your posts should be one of those. Typically your vulnerable post 1 to 2 days a week, viral 1 to 2, and then your value more like 3 to 4 days a week. This is something like a how-to reel. Value bringing to your customers in your stories, discount codes where you're asking small businesses to connect with you. Do you have a link tree set up? Do you have like Amazon favorites in there, links to things? This is how you have to think whenever you're posting something. Is this valuable? Are you on your stories and sharing like the newest vegan, dairy-free, gluten-free, dressing you just found for gut protocol? That's valuable. These are things. I have people that reach out to me and say, I never miss you on a Sunday because you do your grocery haul. And I always pick up something new at the grocery store, and they love that. That is a value post. I'm going to scroll over one and then scroll back because I'm going to show you. This is value. Katie, this is kind of blurry. On the left, this is kind of like an overall thing. 90% of what she's sharing are healthy recipes, and not just healthy recipes, but like delicious healthy recipes. She embodies the idea that like eating a lot of food and eating fun food, like that doesn't mean like that you're eating crappy, right? She basically wants, her message is basically like less is not more. And if you're eating the right foods and you're doing healthy swaps, like you can continue to lose weight and be healthy and still enjoy what you're doing. So she really embodies value on all of her posts because she's constantly like, she has a very hard push on nutrition, and that's just her thing. Vulnerable is next. And this is really, really important. I feel like this is very hard for a lot of coaches to do. Are you keeping everything surface level? Because if everything is like, hi, have a great day, bye, you do have to get vulnerable with your people, like share about your life a little bit more in depth, like get them involved, ask them questions. I mean, you don't have to tell them your deepest, darkest secrets, but like, let them get to know your family and your day to day and what you're doing. This is how you start connecting with your cold market, because you do start to open up a little bit more and people like honestly feel that connection with you. It sounds so crazy, but it happens. It truly does happen when you allow to be like a little bit more vulnerable, because that allows that connection to happen where people feel the same way that you're feeling. So for instance, this coach, Teresa, her husband, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago, she's a 10-star diamond coach. She quit her full-time PA nursing job right in the beginning of the year. And her husband got in a horrible ski accident and almost died. And he's been in therapy, and she has been unbelievably vulnerable. Not that this is a good thing that he got in the accident, but from the time that happened until now, her following went up over 25,000 followers, because she really opened up about a story. She took people along the journey, and she just like really spoke from her heart every single day. And something so terrible and traumatizing, as terrible as it is, like she's brought these people along and she's got this incredible following now. So I thought that would be a perfect example of a vulnerable post. And then viral. Viral is something that you like literally want to go viral, right? Something that people really like and connect to, a funny meme, a repost from like somebody that you really like. But make sure that all of this kind of stuff though still links back to you and your niche. So you're not going to post a funny meme that's about motherhood and you're a college kid, right? Like, you're going to post something that's related to you, like somebody I just saw this meme like posted the other day, and she's a coach and she's younger, she's in college, and it was like this meme that was like, I used to think I was stressed in high school or something. Like it was cute, but it goes with her niche. And I posted this one of Haley because she's a new mom. So she posts these types of posts, these viral posts, every couple posts. This sleep is you ordered is out of stock. So it's very fitting for what her market is. So just keep in mind every time you're making a post, making a story, is this embodying like the message that I'm trying to get across and the people that I want to attract to my business? So I hope that makes sense. Creating content and growing your following. Some of this might be like stuff you already know, but do reels, post stories. And always make sure that you're doing whatever a new feature is. Obviously, reels are the big thing right now, and you should be doing the reels. I mean, it's how most of coaches are like going viral and like getting these huge followings. I know in my personal upline team, a lot of girls have literally just like been killing it because of consistency with posts for the last 6, 8, 10 months, a year. And it's really taken off for them. Once they've honed in on their niche, they've really honed in on their market of people and perfected like making reels to fit what they're all about. They've really seen success with it. And remember that creating content and doing these reels and things like that is like killing two birds with one stone. You could have these, you know, that is what kind of builds that connection with other people in the masses. It connects with the masses instead of just having these onesie conversations behind the scenes, which those are great. I'm not saying that. But instead of trying to spark one single conversation and pulling teeth with trying to come up with something out of the air, use this kind of stuff as, the foundation. And as soon as you get those 10, 20 people liking your reel or your post, I mean, those are the people you should be immediately talking to in the background, or, whatever it may be. It does, remember that the conversations don't have to start off with anything to do with fitness, and they really shouldn't. It's kind of leads me to the do and then the don't cold message. Don't just randomly cold message out of nowhere and, invite to somewhere. This is why you want to do make sure these people on their page watching your stuff spark a conversation. Today I was like washing my son's baseball pants and asking moms, like, am I the only one that's like scrubbing baseball pants like all season? And I have so many people like chiming in. That is my in to talk to these people. And then that's not saying I'm going to invite them today, because I'm not. But then I'm going to talk to them again. They're probably going to respond back to me. And when I finally do go in for that invite, they're actually probably going to feel guilty if they don't respond, because they know that we kind of like are Instagram friends now. So the next one is do spend time building connections in the DMs, which is kind of what I just said. And then don't push product 24/7 in your stories. People are there for your content outside of Beachbody, guys. Let them get to know you from everything else. And then breadcrumbing the product launches, the Beachbody products here and there. Like, how many times do you continue to follow somebody who does nothing but show up on their stories pushing product? Probably not a lot of people. So always ask yourself, would you follow yourself? Would you follow yourself? Look back and be like, oh, every single one of my stories had to do with pushing a Beachbody product. Just remember that your platform is so much bigger than that. Okay, this next one, improving your social media. I'm just kind of talking about, this is more so of just kind of what it looks like, your bio. Does your bio explain who you are and what you do? And do you have some kind of link for them? A link is like technically like a call to action. Do you have a call to action? Like, hey, join me, with the arrow and the link. Linktree is so easy. You literally can, it's the easiest thing. You just upload Google Forms onto there. You don't have to have anything fancy. Some of my newest coaches like set their Linktree up and do a Google form, and at least it's a way for somebody to always get a hold of you and get more information from you. And it's right there. So I'm just going to show you like the bio, like Healthy Holly. Hers is great. You know exactly who she is. She's a busy mom herself, helping busy moms find their fire through fitness, building a business, keeping it real, and having way too much fun. And that is exactly what she does in her reels. So you can tell from that, like, hey, this girl's probably fun. She's probably funny. She's probably very energetic, because of like what her bio says. Join me. She's got the call to action with the website. So make sure you have that set up. The highlights. I can't tell you how many times people are like, oh my God, can you tell me more about this? And if I'm like, oh, 3-day refresh, go to my highlights. You can literally follow me from 3-day refresh from start to finish. Affordable fashion, put it in my highlights. Are you a DIYer? Put it in your highlights. Again, guys, it's not all about I have these two backwards, actually. It's supposed to be this. It's not, she's supposed to be under highlights. It's not all about fitness, right? So she's got book club, curly hair life, anxiety.
Uh-oh, I wonder if her computer died. We'll give it a minute. Does anyone have any questions? You can drop it in the chat.
That's just ironic because like my phone's about to die too. And I was like, wait a minute, was that her or me?
Like, who's dying here?
Yep.
While she gets back on, one thing I wanted to talk about was that color wheel. Hang on. That color wheel and the niching down. One thing I'm not good at right now, and I'll be honest about it, is like hitting a specific market. Like I think of my TikTok account is like everything is about teaching, and I have 20,000 followers over there because I think it's because I talk so much about teaching. So I think really on my Instagram, what I need to go to is like, I am teaching teachers how to like live their health and fitness. So she made it back.
I am so sorry. Did you see
totally
my text message? My computer died.
Oh, that's what we saw. Your like low battery thing popped up. So we're like, it probably died. But I was just talking about niching down because I am not on Instagram. I'm really bad at it. On TikTok, I've niched down. Like I only talk about teaching and I've grown my following a lot over there. Whereas like how we need to, I think we're so afraid we're going to leave someone out. Like, well, I want to spread my net so wide to reach everyone. But really we're reaching no one because they don't feel like we're talking to them. But I'll turn it back over.
100%. It's so spot on. Wait, is my share screen still on or no?
No.
Okay. Okay. So back to what I was saying. And then the last thing is like aesthetics. So really aesthetics actually has changed a lot. Prior to Reels, aesthetics was like super important. And really there's been a big shift with that. And it's not as important. But I would say make sure aesthetically, like with your Reels, even like the cover and stuff, that it's eye capturing at least, or drawing you in, or it looks in sync. She's really good. Reagan's really good with like having that. She's got the consistency. She gets her point across and kind of like has little headers on her highlights. So that's something that it's just a good way to make sure your page kind of looks, coherent, if you will. And then I just kind of threw a couple other things in, other ways to bring value and increase social media exposure, just like collabing with small businesses that aligns with your niche and what you like. You're not going to like ask a, I don't know, like a diet pill company to collab with you. Like that's so far from what Beachbody, is like what we embody. We're all about, we're not about mass restriction. We're not trying to like get you to, eat nothing but carrots. So like you wouldn't collab with something that doesn't fit your niche. For instance, I had 2 emails the other day from this company called like Shapewear or Shape something. And they were asking me to be an affiliate. And when I looked them up, the company was oversized women's shapewear. Well, I'm 100 pounds. I'm not a curvy woman. Like that would not be, I was like, no, this is not like, I wouldn't fit in your clothes. Like it wouldn't even be the correct way to collab. So remember that, find somebody to collab with, small businesses, but make sure it embodies who you are and what you enjoy. And then tagging other people, like make sure, like I know a lot of us, like a lot of me and my coaches will do the tagging train posts where we tag each other in the post and then we comment and like on each other's posts to bring exposure and, bring that algorithm, that chances of that algorithm going to boost your post more. So we do that a lot. adding locations to your posts, which is good for exposure, again, algorithm boosting, finding people, doing a giveaway. Make sure, you know, that you're putting in those requirements where you need to tag 3 of your best friends, because that's bringing 3 more eyes to your page. Ask a small business for codes, you guys. There's a lot of small businesses where you don't have to be an affiliate. You don't have to do all of this stuff. You don't have to sign up for anything. You can just ask them for codes if you got a product that you liked. The other day, I got a product I loved in the mail. I reached out to her and I said, hey, can I get a code for my followers? Sure. She gave me my code, Cassi10, and away I went. So it's very simple. Like most small businesses will be like, yeah, if you're going to promote my product in your stories, absolutely. And then just like sharing things of your everyday life. Again, I think this is really important. I think if you take a look at a lot of successful coaches, you would almost go on their pages and not even know they were Beachbody coaches, because they've branded themselves so well, because people are on their page because they love them, not necessarily because they don't love Beachbody products as well, but their initial reason for following these people are usually for something outside of Beachbody. So just remember that. Are you like hilarious? There's some like really funny Beachbody coaches that I love to follow. I would never do what they do because I'm not funny. Like I'm just not funny. I'm a little more serious and I'm a little more intense. So I'm not going to try to be somebody else that I'm not. So I know as a new coach, it's easy to like follow a ton of coaches and try and like, and you're over here and then you're doing this and then you're doing that, but really try to just, you know, keep your blinders on and just stay committed to, you know, who you are and really letting that come through on your social media. Because I think when that happens, you'll start to notice that, you know, you'll start getting the people to your page that really, you know, you want on your page. So how do I unshare? Oh, there. So I guess I'll just kind of open it up. I kind of did fly through that pretty fast, but if you guys have questions, I didn't really look into anything. Oh yeah, Angie Belmar with Disney. I mean, look at Emily Favre. Like it's all about Ella and like nothing is about. And then there's like more very serious coaches, like Holly Hillier is a very serious business coach. And, you know, so it's like Moira Kusaba, but then there's like Erin Hopkins, who is hilarious. And she's like, you know, like the coach who drinks wine every single night of her life. But like, she's just like one of those people that's like, oh, she would be fun to hang out with.
Yeah. And this can change with seasons. Like I think of Angie, as I see all her like moving boxes behind her, is like, people want to follow that. Like I've noticed my posts and my stories have been so increased since I've been sharing about how Shane and I are moving and like the process of moving and like what's going on and stuff like that. Like I almost thought like I should have done a series of like how we got our house ready to be showed for like selling and stuff like that. Like, so it can change. Your niche can change over time. I think of now is a huge time. A lot of people are moving. A lot of people are packing up like their college life and moving into like their first maybe house or apartment. Like it can change with time, but I think to getting a little more specific. So people are like, oh, you're moving, like this person's moving and they share a bunch of tips every day. Like you should follow them. But if people can't pinpoint what people get from your page, your content isn't very shareable because they can't say like, oh, you know, like someone, I don't even know how someone would describe my page right now. Like, I'm just being honest with you. Like, I don't know how someone would say like, oh, you should go follow Brianna because like they could say, cause she's motivational, you know, blah, 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 but nothing that's like, because she gives you tips on how to clean your house, you know, then people are like, oh.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's certainly not like an overnight thing. I mean, I've been trying to hone my niche down for 4 years. And I mean, part of the reason that I share this stuff is because I went through it, right? And I tried to be like everybody to everybody and realize like that just doesn't work. And now when I take a look at my customers and my coaches, like we are all very similar because they were attracted to my page because of those commonalities. So you start to see, as you hone that niche down, you start to see you do attract who you are and the people that you want to attract. Yeah. So does anybody have any questions? I mean, it can be related to anything. It doesn't even have to be based on this topic. I know sometimes my girls like to ask guest speakers questions just because like it's nice to have a different perspective. No, quiet crowd. I didn't even look at all of yours were mostly comments, I'm assuming. Yeah. Yeah. So did everything make sense? Like, is that kind of, was that helpful?
Yeah. One
For
thing,
your-
could you touch on, so Fire and Flow comes out, what, May 24th for coaches. What are some things you're doing to breadcrumb your content to get people guided towards Fire and Flow?
So, I mean, I've gotten very good at launches. It's taken like time to practice it and everything, but like once you start getting used to launches, they get easier to do. Breadcrumbing is huge. Honestly, I would start as soon as you can, like the earlier the better. I probably had the best launch with Gut Protocol because I started talking about it at least 3 weeks before. And I just was saying like, oh my gosh, I'm following some of my coaches. I'm following, coaches that are testing out, this new program. It's just crazy to see their results. Like, I don't know a lot about it, but I'm definitely going to start sharing more about it. And like, that's breadcrumbing. Even just like posting like a quick little sizzle video and then like maybe not talking about it, but maybe talking about it like the next day. I mean, certainly sample workouts when they come out, you should 100% be doing the sample workout, talking about that you're turning the sample workout on for this new program. Because remember that our coach community, my upline team, we always say a launch is a launch only if you make it a launch. If you don't talk about it, you didn't launch anything. Like, you can't make it a launch. Right now, you could launch any program. You could pretend no one would know. You could be like, oh my God, I'm doing this 21-day program. You could launch 21-day fix like it was a brand new program. If I started breadcrumbing and launched it in 3 weeks to, my followers who are not, outside of Beachbody, they don't know, they wouldn't know. But if you treat a launch like a launch, it'll be a launch. But if you don't talk about it on launch day, you're not going to have any sales. Like, that's just how it goes. So I kind of like, up until the day of, I start really pretty much talking about it every single day. You want to make people have FOMO, and people do get FOMO. You see people like like saying like, okay, I wasn't going to do it, but I want to do it, that kind of thing. Now, I'm at a point in my coaching career where I have a lot of customers. So I get a lot of like, those people are customers. Like, I have a lot of people that stick around and do those things. So my launches get bigger and bigger because I have all of my existing customers who typically don't like to miss out, because I do month-to-month challenge groups. So you have to be pretty much invested in product monthly in order to move on with us. Otherwise, you're just like in what I call like an open bod group, but it's not an active challenge group month to month. So the other thing you could do is, I don't know if your upline team does like the hype groups. We do the hype group. We did the Gut Protocol hype group, and that was huge. I know my upline does that. We had like 850 people in that, and everybody I was talking to about it, when they said, yeah, can I get more information? That was one place that I would put them in. I'd say, yeah, I'm going to send you into this hype group. It's on Facebook. And also, I'm going to give you this link. I had created a landing page with a Google form attached for Gut Protocol. And God, was that like the easiest way to get share cards out to people on launch day, because all of the information I needed was there. I didn't have to do the back and forth in the DMs, like, what's your email? Okay, what shake flavor do you want? Would you like to be a preferred customer? All of that was in the Google form. I just pulled all my Google forms up, put it all in the link, sent it on, and then I was done with it. So landing pages are big, giving people some kind of freebie in the background. Guys, take like the sample video when it comes out, and every one of your followers, somebody views your stories. Hey, Susie, saw you checking out my stories. Not sure if you're interested. Wanted to send you this free sample workout. It's coming out soon. Would you mind giving it a try? I'd love your feedback. Something like that, where you're making them feel important, like you want their feedback, you want them to try this workout. And then guess what? They try it, they love it, and they want to hear more about it. Yeah, the hype group is great. I cannot take credit for that. Like, my upline pretty much does all of the prep work for that. She gets the content from Pixel and Hue. And pretty much like her and some of the Star Diamond, 5-star Diamond and above coaches will do the posts and everything, but it just really brings a lot of energy. And plus they do a big giveaway for like, I don't know, $50 gift card at the end. They do a ring the bell. So on the day of launch, she posts ring the bell, drop your order number in the comments, and then she pulls a winner from there. I always incentivize too. I do the same. I do my own little ring the bell on launch day for all of my current customers and new customers, just another fun incentive. And, I just make sure that I'm creating that FOMO, because it's like almost like you want to like an exclusivity thing. Like, hey, even when you're talking about things like, hey, I have 5 more spots open, like, even though you're never going to tell somebody no, but they want to feel like, oh, okay, she's only taking 5 more people for this group. Maybe I do want in on this. So always breadcrumbing about 3 weeks out. Believe it or not, I have not started breadcrumbing because I've gotten so much amazing feedback and so much excitement over Gut Protocol. I'm still selling Gut Protocol packages because we just finished like today. And so all of the transformations are rolling in, and I've slowly been like putting those up. So now the second wave of people is kind of coming from that. And then, yeah, I'll be talking about our next program. And I really keep my customers engaged because I talk about what's coming up down the line. I just wrapped up my April group. I basically went on live and said like, hey guys, the May group is opening. I highly suggest you keep the momentum going, because May, there's actually a new launch program at the end of May. If you're in the May group, you're going to start getting all the info on it, the sample workouts. We're going to talk about, what we're going to do. And most of the time people are like, yes, let me in. Like, they want that one thing after the other to keep their momentum going. And that's my goal as the coach too, is to keep the momentum going, keep the excitement and the fun going, and always having like a challenge to do during each month. If we're not doing something specific like Gut Protocol, I would consider this like an off month where there's not like an actual program that we're all following. So I make sure to tell them like, pick a program in the meantime, but know that there is a launch program coming that we will probably all be starting in June together. I usually don't start till like a week or 2 after actual launch day, just because of orders and equipment and product and stuff like that. So that was drawn out, but I hope that answers your question.
No, I love it. I'm definitely going to do a hype week or a hype group to kind of, and Fire and Flow is unique because it has the Elise and Jericho. So you're not restricted to the one sample workout of Fire and Flow. I mean, they can do a sample of MM100 and a sample of bar blend and kind of get a feel for both the trainers. And I love that idea. So definitely steal that.
Yeah, for sure. The hype group is great. And it's one central spot that you can put everybody, you know what I mean? It's like, you don't have to be like, oh, I got to get this person info, I got to get this person. It's like, hey, here's a hype group link. This is going to like lay out all the information. You can literally just put them all in posts. So yeah, it's good.
I love that.
Yeah, we did. Were you at the Success Club trip?
Yes.
Yeah. So like their workouts were so good. So good.
Yeah. And so any other questions? Hi, Bo. Bo, do you have a question?
Is that little baby Bo?
Yep.
Oh.
That's Bo.
Oh, he's so sweet. We get guest visitors on our little baby visitors on ours too. Usually my daughter's like in the background, but I was like, I told my husband, I'm like, this is not my team call. Like, this is somebody else's team call. And I was like, she can't be like hanging on my shoulder.
Oh,
So, well,
perfect.
thank you guys so much for having me. I always enjoy like kind of speaking, and I'm hoping that, I gave you a little bit different perspective, maybe with something, or you picked up a couple little tidbits. I always know, like when I do listen to team calls, even if I can pick up like 2 or 3 new little things, I'm like, oh, that's good. Like, to me, that is worth a team call, right? When you're like, oh, that's something new and fresh. Like, that's a good idea.
For sure.
Yeah.
So perfect. Well, thank you for hopping
Good
on,
stuff.
especially on a Sunday night and stuff like that. So we appreciate it. And I hope everything, I mean, I have pages of notes and stuff like that. So
Oh, good. And yeah, and if you don't mind, can you send me the recording?
yeah, I'd love to. So,
Okay. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Bye,
yeah,
Bo.
bye.
you.
Take care.